Hey guys, I hope this video turns out. I've never actually used this GoPro to record facing this direction before, so I have no idea what it's going to look like. This is Sean Burke. I'm going to give you a little bit of a view of what'll be my third drive of my 2006 Carrera 4S Cabriolet with FSI 2737 in it, the first engine of the new Flat Six Innovations LN Engineering engine program. I was fortunate enough to be the one that jumped the fastest and landed that engine, and a little over 2 weeks later, have my car back with the engine in it, and I've driven about probably a little under 70 miles so far with the engine in the car, and the experience has just been awesome so far. I did drive the car a little bit before I got here so that it's up to temperature. That way you can see what it sounds like and feels like all the way through the rev range. So let's get going. Probably the biggest and most shocking thing about the car with this engine in it is just how docile it is in the parking lot and slow streets. I mean, I expected the power, the ability to rev, all the things I'd heard about all the FSI engines, but I never expected it to be this much better as just a normal street car poking around the parking lot. The one thing I wasn't a fan of when the car was stock was the fact that it was kind of cranky at low speeds. It would surge a little bit, it rattled a lot when it was cold. Just wasn't a stellar experience, but having had a lot of different performance cars and motorcycles and other things, I'm used to that. But the engine's totally transformed the car, not just at speed, but also when you're going really slow, and that was an added bonus. Of course, I ended up pulling out into traffic, so I can't take off like I planned to, but you can see the car. I'm in third gear right now at about 35 miles an hour, and the car is just incredibly smooth. I downshifted to second. We're doing about 45 now, and it just goes. No drama, no surge, no lugging. Torque's available all over. We're doing about 55 in fourth at 3,000 RPM right now, and the car just builds right away. It's also 43 degrees and wet out here right now, so I've got to watch myself because it's a little slippery. But I mean, it's an incredible combination. And I remember somebody in one of Jake's webinars or Zoom meetings under the old program saying that this is the engine Porsche should have put in this car, and they're definitely right. I mean, it totally transforms the car and really makes it what it should have been from the factory. Hang on, things have cleared a little bit, so give it a little. You can hear that was a third gear pull from about 45 to 70 or so, and of course I'm coming back up into traffic because Murphy's Law works like it does. But the car just goes whenever you need it, wherever you need it. I also think from a sound perspective, when the car was still stock, I put a set of Soul headers and Soul catalytic converters on it, but I kept the stock mufflers because I wanted something that was still, reasonably well-behaved sound-wise when I'm around my neighbors, when I'm picking my daughter up from soccer practice, things like that. But then really has a good sound when I open it up. And this really, I think this engine sounds better with the same exhaust setup that I had on it when I left the house than it did when I left the house. It's less ragged. It sounds more like what I'd expect out of the car. So I can't say enough. Probably my one disappointment right now is that I live in Central Ohio and it's January. So, this is a cab, and I'd really like to have the top down so I can listen to this thing with the top down. But the day I got the car, I had a chance to drive it to the doctor and back, and it was really, really cold. I think it was in the 20s. And right now it's 43 and raining, so no chance there. And then for the rest of the week, it looks like it's going to be in the 20s, teens, and below. So I think it's going to be a while before I can actually hear this thing with the top down. But just incredible combination, the experience and being able to buy the engine, and then Andy from Andy Speed and Suspension, picked it up the early in the week following when I bought it. By January 19th, it had the new engine in it. I think by late the 19th or the 20th, he was putting test miles on it, and then by Friday the 27th, and it would have been 2 days earlier had we not had some schedule and weather challenges. But by Friday the 27th, I had the car back and it was on the road. So just can't say enough. Incredible experience under the new engine program. Good Andy is an awesome certified installer. He's also right next to Ellen Engineering, so had good linkage there. But the new engine program, it's great to be the first guy through the door on it, and awesome to have the engine that Jake built himself for the new engine program. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get through all my break-in miles on this thing and really see what it can do over the long run. I'm going to have a chance to get a decent pull from a stop in a second, so I turned the video back on so you can hear this. We'll start in the first gear. I'm at about 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour right now, and that was through third gear and about 74 miles an hour. And given again that it's raining and a little slippery, that's about as far as I'll push it, but again, the car just keeps going. It's deceptively smooth. It builds speed at a ridiculous rate, so you have to keep your eye on it. Otherwise, you could be touching on triple digits before you know it. But then you can drop back into sixth, and it's docile. It'll accelerate, nicely in sixth gear at 60 miles an hour, just like a normal street car. So again, incredible combination.